Hello, here's Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update on the forex market, interest rates, and cryptos. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. And as usual, or almost as usual, we'll start with euro dollar. A lot of spikes going on here, trying to get back above the cloud. On Friday, didn't do it. Trying again today. Still positive sentiment on the RSI. I think it will turn around eventually, but as we can see here, all the moving averages, the 55, the 200, and the 100, they're not really agreeing with each other. The two latter there, they are basically flat, where 55 is dragging it lower. But it needs to take out to support here at 116.50, 116.40 for the euro dollar to really push lower. And given the fact that we still have positive sentiment on the RSI, it should turn around eventually. But for now, it is really just trading sideways in the cloud. But it lastly has been above, so it should push higher here in the coming days and weeks. But it is not really there just yet. Sterling dollar couldn't follow through here. Friday spiked higher than sitting back, but still positive sentiment, still bullish trend, and it should push higher eventually. And I think it will do it here the next few days towards 137 and possibly higher. And looking at the weekly, since this is the second trading day of the of May months, or the month of May, I still think we will push higher. But in the bigger picture, you can see it actually basically be trading here between the area around 130 and up to around 138-ish in the bigger picture, without any clear direction. A lot of noise, a lot of volatility, but hasn't really moved. But look at all these moving averages, they're pushing higher. So eventually I think we will see sterling dollar pushing higher. Euro sterling, well, again, tried this morning here to open lower, then have bounced a little bit, but we are in a bearish trend, negative sentiment on the RSI. All the moving averages are now declining. You'll see the 55, it didn't even get up to the 100 here on the daily, and that indicates we are in underlying bearish trend and sentiment, and is likely to push lower in the coming days and weeks. But still key support down here around 86, just a little bit below it. We have the, excuse me, on the weekly we have the 200 moving average giving some support in this area here, just around 86 too. So there could be something, it could be a bounce, but I think we will get down there, especially if it takes out the lows from today and Friday. On the yen pairs, that massive sell-off last week on the last trading day of April, caused by intervention from the Bank of Japan, pushed dollar yen lower, and you will see strong support here at 155.5 area, dipping a little bit below there, but really strong. Tried a couple of times, and all this, so this morning here, and then bouncing, still closing in the clouds. But there's negative sentiment, and that actually indicates lower levels. But let's see, I think we could see maybe it bouncing a little bit higher, but resistance here at 157.5. If it takes out that, well, maybe it will try to get up to the 61.8 retracement, 158.70. The weekly is undecided really, so let's focus on the near term for now. If it takes out the lows here from last week, well, then there's potential lower to towards 154 and such. But what we can actually do, we can add a Fibonacci to this entire uptrend here, and then we have you'll see 61.8. It actually reached out right there. Then the next one is 786 at 154. That is in play, or could come in play. On the euro yen, also the massive bounced somewhat, but a lot of volatility, a lot of uncertainty, and yeah, key strong support here around 182.5. I actually dipped to 182.25, just above it. If it takes out the lows there from the 30th of April, expect a push lower towards these lows here. And we have, you see, 786 retracement, and then the lows here at 180, spot 80 could be seen. But for now, we are still in a bouncing mode. We are above the cloud. We closed in cloud. We never closed below, despite the fact there's negative sentiment I could see it bouncing a little bit further, maybe up to the 61.8 retracement and 185.5 area. And here on the weekly, we are still in a bullish trend that is still intact as long as it stays above these lows here from last week. Aussie yen coming up here. Didn't even get, well, dipped into the cloud really, but support here at 111 wasn't really challenged, and then it bounced almost up to the 61.8 retracement there at 113.40. I think it will bounce further and could bounce up to 114 to 786 retracement right there. And then we maybe could have a little setback. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, but there is divergence indicating RSI is weakening. So let's see. But as long as it stays above 111, then it is still in a bullish trend. Also, sterling yen, as we can see, higher highs here on the weekly, still bullish trend. But there's this area here just around 216, 215.85. Really strong resistance. We have looked at it so many times going back to 2008, 2009. So that is really a struggle for sterling yen. But it bounced up to the resistance there at 213.90, just below the 61.8 retracement. Spiked just a few pips above the 214. So 214 is actually, I'll say, if it breaks above that, then expect it push up to the 786 retracement there, 215.25. Moving on to Aussie dollar. Both Friday and this morning, it tried to push higher, just spiked above the previous peak there, just at 72.22. I think it will really take off eventually, but sitting back a little bit, it can also. So we are still in this range behavior here between 71 and 72.25, and that is the breakout. It needs to perform for direction. The weekly chart, as you can see, we are in a bullish trend. There is divergence on the RSI. You see the values here are declining, indicating uptrend exhaustion, but we don't have a top and reversal in place just yet. So keep on. But I think if it takes out the peak there from Friday, just around, well, that's 72.27, so 72.30. If it takes out that, expect a push up to around 73 area. These Fibonacci projection levels there could be in the card. And also 55 moving average coming up, 100 also. We are above the cloud, positive sentiment. It is indicating, they are all indicating higher levels, but it takes a little bit of time. We have here dollar Canada. Didn't get all the way down to the lows here, can still do it, but now bouncing quite a bit. And what I will do, we can do two things. We can put Fibonacci to this very short term here and could bounce up to some of these levels. You can do it yourself on your charts, possibly up to the 61.8 retracement. I'm not quite sure we'll get there. What we can also, we can measure the entire distance from here to there, and then we have the 38.2 here at just around the key resistance, where we also have the 100 and the 55 moving average coming down, but that is quite significant, the 38.2 there. So that would be key. But it will take time, and I'm not quite sure we'll get there. So expect, I think we will see lower levels on dollar Canada eventually. But as you can see here on the weekly, really strong support here, around one or just above 135. So that's really key to watch these levels here. If they're taking out, then expect a push low to 134. So there is an update error here on EURUSD this morning, and that is not a massive surprise. I have asked the bank to remove it. I hope they will do it. But it is very, very thin, illiquid trading there early Monday morning. Usually in EURUSD, it's usually a European thing trading the EURUSD. So we have this. So disregarded. We are still above this 91.25 key support. Yes, I know we dipped below here to 90.40, but extremely thin markets. Still, I will regard it as being this range here between 91.25 and 92.65. Dollar Swiss, also quite thin here, opened lower this morning, but still above the 77.5 key support. But in the bigger picture, we can see we're still in a bearish trend. although it is a little bit exhausting at the moment. However, if it takes out 77.48, then I expect a push lower to these lows here in the region around 77 and 70. What are we talking about? 76 levels down here. But we could bounce a little bit further. But look at this: we have the 100, and we have the 100 coming down. We have the 21, the orange there. And 55 still slightly rising, but we are negative sentiment, likely to push lower. The dollar index, well, the dollar index spiked Friday lower below the cloud, but closed above, and we are testing a lower part of cloud here. This morning, spiked almost down to the previous lows there. Negative sentiment. We are in the bigger picture in a bearish trend. But the 55 would like to move up, so the medium term a little bit bouncing mode, and we could see it bouncing further. So what I will do, I remove this one, and then I will add a new one just from this move here and say, all right, we bounce to the 38.2 retracement. We could actually bounce up to the 61.8 and 98.43. But if it takes out these two lows here, well, then I expect a push lower towards a 95. On the interest rate or the yield side, the US 10-year Treasury yield, well, it is still around these levels here, just about 4.42, just below the 7.86 retracement of this downwards move here. I still think we will see it pushing higher towards the 4.5 level. Positive sentiment is supporting that view, and we can see here on the weekly we have this triangle-like pattern in the bigger picture, but maybe now it's turning into a descending triangle-like pattern. Let's see about that. But the weekly, you can see we actually has established a bullish trend, and especially if it takes out that peak here just below 40.5, 44.48, then uptrend will likely push it higher towards 460. On the European yields, we had the EU10 that set back, it got rejected, really key resistance there at 313, got knocked back down, but trying to call high again this morning here. So we are caught range bound in this range here between 290 and 313. UK 10 also set back a little bit, could sit back even further. It hasn't opened just yet in the UK, it should do it shortly. And I think maybe setting back a little bit to 493, but let's see. Strong key resistance here in the 510, 511 area, 512. And moving on to Japanese 10-year. So there are some bank holidays in Japan this early week, and so the market is pretty thin, still in a bullish trend, and could push higher in the coming weeks. Above 5.5 is in the cards. So keep an eye on that if you're trading the yen pairs. On the crypto side, we have Bitcoin spiking above 80,000 this morning. Currently trading just around that level at the moment, but it has confirmed the bullish trend still intact as long as it stays above 73,770. And I think we'll see it crawling higher towards 83,500, where we have the 61.8 retracement of this sell-off there. Ethereum is being helped a little bit. It actually did take out these lows there, but still a bullish trend and positive sentiment indicating likely higher levels, but resistance here at 24.67. All right, that's all for today on the FX market. Later today, you will find an update on the equities market. You will find it on Substack, and also on Substack last night, I did an update on commodities, on metals, on energy, and soft and grains. Check it out on my Substack at Kramer's Corner there. Thank you and have a nice day, and keep chatting out there.